Okay, we're going to do a quick, easy way to do forced carbonation. This is something that I learned from a guy named Stan over at Malty Dog Brewing, and it's a great, simple way, good all-around way to force carb. It's easy to do, and it's, for most beers, it does a pretty good job. The basic steps are really to get the, he says get the beer to the serving temperature, which he uses 42 degrees. Sometimes I serve a little bit cooler. So I usually set it anywhere from 36 to 42 degrees depending on the style. Set your tank at 20 pounds. You connect the blackout connector to the dip, to draw to the dip tube. So you just swap the black connector on and put that on your gas line so that you can connect it to the black line. It helps it bubble it through the bottom. I don't know how much of a difference it really makes, but not a big deal to do. You gently rock the tank, and I'll show you how to do it for 15 minutes. Really gently, it's not a big deal. You disconnect the gas, you let it sit under that same pressure that it was under for 20 minutes. I just throw it back in the kegerator, let it sit for 20 minutes. You pull it back out, you release the gas, you swap back your black connector, put your gray one back on, just flip them back around, connect it back up, and set it to serving, whatever your serving pressure is, and you're usually about 8 pounds depending on what you have set up. And that's it. You can serve it right then and there after that. I like to usually let it sit a little bit longer, overnight or for a few hours, but it definitely works just fine like that as well. I've seen him do it in his place a ton of times right from that point, and he serves right at that point. So let's get started. So the first thing we want to do is get our black connector off so we can connect this to the gas line. We're going to lose a little bit of beer. I'll have to clean this up later. And the reason being, if you've never done this before, you can't connect your gray connector to the out position. You have to have a black one. Okay, so now these are all ready to go. My tank is set, it's a little over 20 pounds right now, but with 2 tanks I think that's okay because it's going to drop off dramatically. And simply we just connect this to the out now, each tank. I'll snap on there. Turn our gas on. Okay, so our tank pressure, it's hard to get it right on. I hate my gauge. It's a little over 20 pounds, maybe 22 pounds. So right now, here's the basic method. We got our timer set at 15 minutes. We hit start. And the rocking is literally gently, just like this. It's easy to do. A lot of times I'll just watch TV if I got one nearby or whatever. It's no big deal. And just rock it like this. And you'll hear, every once in a while, you're going to hear the CO2 start to bubble. But that's basically it. That's how you want to rock it, nice and gently. You do this for 15 minutes. It's simple, and it's usually works out pretty well. The other thing when you're moving it, I always find it works a little bit better when you just rock it. Sometimes it doesn't slosh the beer around too much, which is fine. But I try to sometimes go a little shorter, so you actually hear the beer moving around a little bit more. And it always absorbs more when I do it like that. Not a lot, but if you just... Okay, we're in our last 10 seconds here. That went by pretty quick. And that's it. All we have to do now is shut our gas off. Disconnect it. And let it sit for, an hour or so. That's usually about an hour. After that hour, you can connect, you release the pressure on the tank, and then you set your tank for your serving pressure. And then that's it. You could serve at that point. Okay, so the beer's been sitting there for about an hour and 15 minutes. First thing I'm going to do is connect my my gas lines back up to the in. So reset my pressure to my serving pressure here usually somewhere between usually around 6 to 8 pounds. So I think it's sitting at about 8 for now, and that'll be fine. So now those lines are connected. The next thing I do is release all that pressure that we had on there, that over about 20 pounds of pressure. Let's clear that off. Clear that off. And then go ahead and fire up the gas. I don't think I have a leak in my cap here. Yep, I do. There we go. I had to just kind of adjust it a little bit. We're going to test for leaks really quick on the top of that cap. I don't want to be losing a bunch of gas there. I think it's fine. Just a little bit of dish soap, a little bit of water, just like you do on a barbecue grill, to check the gas connections there. And we're just going to see if we see any sudsing coming up. If you see any bubbling coming through the seal, you'll see bubbles being generated, then you got a leak. So if you look on top, remember this is a lot lower pressure, so sometimes you need a high pressure to seat it, but I don't see anything coming out of it now. So that little bit of adjustment was needed. If I didn't notice that, you know, it never eventually sealed. This is just some water, and it never sealed. You know, I could have lost a whole lot of gas. But technically, you could serve it now. I'm gonna let it sit a little longer. I gotta still clean my beer lines yet, so that's it for now. That's how I do my forced carbonation.